So Andy, tell us about your agent experience.
I've probably had a dozen different agents, none for more than a couple of years. There's sort of like a honeymoon period when you first go with an agent and they really work hard for you, and then suddenly things get a little lax, and as soon as you know that they're not doing the work you need them to do, you need to really start looking, because it doesn't cost them anything to do nothing, but it costs you a lot if they're not working for you. You do need an agent, really, simply because you can't do it all on your own. I mean, you can, but you would spend so much time trying to sell yourself that you would never have any time to write. So you want somebody who knows, who's buying what, especially if you want to get into the assignment business, which is really what the studio business is about. They don't really buy original scripts much anymore. I mean, the independent world is much more into the original works. Studios are doing remakes and sequels and best-selling books, and each movie or each script can go through many, many writers, and they only produce maybe 10% of the scripts they develop. So there's a lot of work out there at the studio level for writers, even though there's a very small chance you'll ever see your work produced. But these are jobs where you can make a lot of money. In the independent world, you're kind of scraping for every dollar. At the studio level, money is not the object. So writers can get several $100,000 to do a rewrite that might take you 3 or 4 weeks, and that can last you quite a while. So if you can do a lot of that over the course of several years, then that's great. I mean, I found this very cyclical. You have hot times where the work keeps coming and coming, and then suddenly everything gets cold, and you sort of have to reinvent yourself. But the great thing about a writer, unlike an actor or a director, is that you don't actually have to be hired to work. I mean, you can always keep working on your own script and use that as the next thing to move on your career. So there's never any excuse. Even if you can't get a job, you can still work and hope that either you can sell what you're working on, or it'll interest someone into hiring you to write something else.
Well, what would be...
The first pitch I ever did is what got me a job, basically, and it's like it was like almost like one of those Cinderella stories, because it was from the Nichols Fellowship thing that I got the agent, and the script I had written for that turned out to be genre-wise a good match for something that a producer friend of my agent was looking for, because this was Jonah Hex. Because Jonah Hex has been a long time in production, or a long time in development.
How many years? How many years? Tell us.
14.
How much time did you spend on it?
About 2 years, 2.5 years.
How many
total.
drafts did you roll through on that?
A lot. But I was fortunate because I was in Ohio at the time, and the producer, Andrew Lazar, called me and said, I read this thing you wrote for the Nichols, it's great. What would you do? I'll send you some Jonah Hex stuff, see what you would do with it. Give me a story. So I read the stuff. I wrote like a 5-page, 6-page treatment or whatever, sent it to him. He goes, this is great. I'm going to fly you out here. We're going to go into Warner Brothers and we're going to pitch this. So they gave me the whole deal. They flew me out. They put me up. We went in and pitched it. Then it was like, we didn't know what happened. I came back, and like about 2 weeks later, they called me and said, you got the job. You're going to write Jonah Hex. So then I